Hi, it's Dana with the Arts Partnership, and I am really excited to be on with you today live, starting something that about 3 minutes ago I decided to name Tap Talk. I don't know that it will stay that, but I must have a thing for alliteration. And I just, whatever. We'll discuss that as we evolve this program. But we're going to start doing some of these live stream conversations. They're going to be quick snippets with interesting artists, arts leaders, arts organizations, arts businesses, people in the arts on a pretty regular basis, because we think that what makes the arts scary and compelling is what happens when you don't see the finished product, when you sort of hear the lead up or you get a little bit of insight into the backstory. Because what we know is true is that what makes us connect to each other are the places where we can latch in and say, oh, I recognize that. So we're hopeful that this will be a new fun way to engage with the partnership and the larger community. You can ask questions while we're talking. This will all happen live. And so I hope that you hop on. I hope you engage. If you like what you see, share it. Let's use this as an opportunity to bring attention, shine a spotlight, and amplify the arts in the community. So it makes perfect sense that we are starting these conversations with a local community, a local organization in the community, Theater B, and with the director of the upcoming production, Mr. Burns, my good friend, Tucker Lucas. I'm going to bring Tucker on. Hi, Tucker.
Hey, Dana, how's it going?
Great. How are you?
I'm doing really, really good. I'm really excited about our opening this week.
Absolutely. So Mr. Burns opens the 6th of March, which is May. I seem to have an inability to get the correct month, perhaps because spring is 3 months behind.
Yes.
It opens May 6th. That would be important.
Yep.
You know what? Monica Brown just hopped on, so I'm going to bring her onto the conversation as well. Hi, Monica.
Hello, Dana. Hi, Tucker.
Hello.
All right. So we're talking about Mr. Burns. I want to read you a sentence from the website because it made me laugh. Tucker Lucas, production director, said, Mr. Burns is a show about a community living in a post-apocalyptic world where there is no more electricity. And so to entertain each other, the community members stage old episodes of The Simpsons as plays. I feel like this is the kind of production that has the potential to bring in a whole different audience than Theater B might generally attract. So Tucker, tell us about this play.
Oh, with that question, it's so hard to know where to start. But one comment we keep having internally as we're working on the show is that it's a 3-act play that plays out almost like 3 separate individual 1-act plays, because the tone and almost genre changes so drastically between them. The whole play covers the span of, what is it? I think about 80 some years into the future after an unnamed apocalypse happens.
Okay.
And so, the title of the play, Mr. Burns, a post-electric play, means exactly that. There's no more electrical grid. So imagine your life today, minus electricity, minus harnessing the photon. What exactly would that life look like? And so obviously there's, no TV. We wouldn't be having this discussion right now. The survivors of this unnamed apocalypse, we meet with a small community of them that have gathered in the woods to form a new community. And to entertain each other around the fire, they just start trying to recall things they remember from when they had electricity. Do they remember this episode of The Simpsons or Happy Days or anything else, right? And out of that grows a connection between them of their shared memories, which largely resists in this group around the pop culture references of The Simpsons. So they start developing Simpsons episodes into plays, and then Act 2, you go into the future about another 7 years, and you watch how this group of people have changed and how their art has evolved, and more people have come into the group, and they're dealing with all of the the things that you would worry about in a post-apocalypse, right? There's violence and mayhem everywhere in the world. There's dangerous places to go. There's not many people left. There's no infrastructure left. So all the challenges that come with that, and trying to maintain their identity and their sense of community and their sense of memory. And then in Act 3, here's how I describe Act 3, which is 75 years in the future, after Act 2. Act 3 is
Bonkers?
That's bonkers.
Okay.
It's crazy. It's the same community developing the same story and evolving it over another 75 years into this operetta with characters that you could recognize, but you also realize have been changed and re-envisioned over time as the culture later. And so, yeah, Act 3 is full on musical.
Wow.
Yeah, beautiful set, beautiful costumes. The costumes in the show have been making us applaud when like a new thing comes on stage in Act 3.
That's fun.
Team in the audience. So it's a show that when we read the script, what do you think, it was 4 or 5 years ago that we first read this?
Yeah, I think it was about 5 years ago, and then we returned to it a couple of times over the past few years, just asking ourselves, is this the right time? Both, from a resource point of view, from a funding point of view, but also, are we ready for it artistically? And I think actually, You'll Be Jolly opened. Well, it didn't open the door for this show because they were programmed and scheduled at the same time. But You'll Be Jolly definitely gave us the confidence to do another musical production and lean into the wonderful talents that our actors have.
Interesting. Okay, so Tucker, you're an interesting little duck to me, and I don't mean that condescendingly. But I've known you since you were a 7th grader.
Yeah.
You're kind of a moody, dramatic 7th grader.
Yeah.
Then
it's called being a teenager.
Yeah. And then we have done some theater together, not for a really long time, but have done some. And you're an extraordinary actor. I mean, really, some of the best stuff I've seen has come from you. And now you've transitioned to directing, and this is not your first thing directing, but you're, emerging as a director. In a sort of brief way, not a, I was born kind of compendium of your life, but in a sort of brief way, talk about that evolution of sort of wending your way towards directing, which is a really different skill set than acting. What's the appeal to that for you?
I mean, I grew up in a theater family. As a kid, I was being brought to Ben Franklin when my dad was directing the plays there. So very early on, I just imprinted on this idea that this was going to be in my life in some way, and theater in general. I wasn't certain I'd be doing anything in particular. And then, yeah, Dana, you mentioned shows that we've done. You and I, my first Theater B show was with you, Joined at the Head.
Well, that was my first Theater B show too.
There you go. So we shared that experience, which I think was 2005 that we did that.
300 years ago.
A million years ago, and I became an ensemble member in 07. And for me at Theater B has privileged me with a ton of opportunity to grow and try different things and fall on my face and get back up again and try new things. And so, I mean, I really owe the path that I've been able to go on to Theater B, to that organization, because that's where I've been trying everything out. And as we're growing as an organization and more artists are coming into the fold, we're looking to go, great, this was a really great opportunity for me. How can we do that now for more artists coming in and become a space where artists in this area who want to work in theater in any capacity, really, can come and work with us and work with the other organizations in town, because there's a lot of amazing theatrical organizations in this town, and go that way. So for me, it's the story of me becoming a director. It's just my life at Theater B.
That's really spectacular. So Monica, I'm going to put up the organization website, but talk a little bit about how people can get tickets, what your structure is, when they need to be ordering them, all those kinds of things. Let's get the logistics of this in so that people know how long the show's running and all those kinds of things.
Absolutely. Thank you, Dana. So the show opens this Friday on May 6th and closes on May 22nd on a Sunday matinee. This opening weekend, Friday and Saturday, we have shows at 7:30 p.m. And those shows are ticketed on a pay-what-you-will basis, which means that our patrons choose how much they pay for a ticket. It can be anywhere between $5 all the way up to $50. So we're giving our audiences a chance to bring a bigger group that they can afford. Maybe you're on a budget, maybe you're a student. There is that flexibility built in to be conscientious about our audience, and also maybe encourage them to be more generous than the typical $25 ticket. The second and third performance weeks are Thursday through Saturday at 7:30 p.m. And then we have 2 matinees on May 15th and 22nd at 2 p.m. Thursdays are BOGO nights. So if you buy 2 tickets, one of them will be free. And Thursdays are also student discounts. Those tickets are $10.
Wow.
And our seniors and military and veterans get their discount at the matinee performances. So the way to get tickets is in a couple of different ways. You can go to the website, to the main page. There will be a button there. You can go to the box office page. There's also a link on the Facebook page in the event for the show. So, like I said, a couple of different ways to get to that specific box office link.
And what is your physical address, Monica?
It is 215 10th Street North in Moorhead. We're just 2 blocks north of the Rebel Dairy Queen.
Yes, in an old school building that has been transformed into both your theater space and Emily Williams Wheeler's studio.
Yes.
So, Tucker, in our last couple of seconds, why should people come to this? The weather's going to finally be beautiful. Why would I come see a play / musical when I could be outside?
You've never seen a show like this before.
Okay.
You've never seen a show like this before. I can say that, when you're the director, you're privileged to be this audience member that gets to watch the show evolve. So I get the opportunity every night to watch these actors on our stage do this show, evolve their characters, get stronger with it and stronger with it and stronger with it. You have never seen a show like this show.
Monica, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm Tucker's assistant director, and we've been working very closely on this show. I think we have a great rapport and are very sensitive to each other's artistic sensibilities. I think this show is a very interesting way of looking at what sort of creation story our modern fellow human beings would come up with if the world ended today and tomorrow they had to tell the story of the new world. It's such an intriguing concept. Dana, you should ask yourself, what kind of stories would you be telling if there were only like a handful of survivors next to you and you wanted to entertain each other around the campfire? Which books would you be talking about? Which songs would you be remembering?
That is a great question. I have a little concern that The Simpsons are the ways that the 20th and 21st century are recalled, but I guess The Simpsons might be the Shakespeare of our time, and we just don't quite know it yet.
I would say that it's just because the show has been running for so long, there are a lot of different age groups that are familiar with it. So it's not specifically about The Simpsons, but they are a little bit of that connective tissue across the generations. And it's really just a pretext to talk about how pop culture influences us and what it looks like as we go into the future.
Well, you have piqued my interest. I am not going to just say this. I'm going to do it. I'm getting tickets.
Woo!
Yes. So I will see the two of you one of these nights coming up. May 6th, opening night. All kinds of opportunities. Go to theaterb.org. Tucker, Monica, good luck with this last week. I know you're tired. This is the slog week for everybody. just a few more days, and then you can kick your feet up and the actors can really take it over.
Indeed. Thank you. We can't wait to give this show to the audience.
Absolutely. I will see you there. Everybody else, thanks so much for watching. We'll be back next week with another conversation. Have a great day.